Hey Freedom family, this is Pastor Kathy with Freedom Ministries. So glad to be back with you again as we dig into God's Word. Hey, I want to ask you the question today. Are you a Christian who walks the walk or just talks the talk? Dig in with me. Stay with us as we dig into this. Hey Freedom family, welcome back. Hey, today I want to talk about, are you a Christian who talks the talk or do you also walk the walk? You know, one of the things that I see so often among those who say that they believe in God, I think that we have a Christianity today. We have people who believe in a faith or believe in a Christianity today where they say, you know, I'm a Christian, I believe in God. And they say that on one hand, but on the other hand, they do whatever they want to do. What do I mean by that? They live however they want to live. They treat themselves however they want to treat themselves. They treat other people how they want to treat other people. And it's as if we live in a time where people feel like, I set the rules. Like, I set the rules for what's right and what's wrong. I set the rules what it means to believe in God. I set the rules. And I want to tell you, I'm going to push back on that, and I want to tell you that couldn't be any further from what God teaches us. Now, people may live that way, but that's not what God teaches us. That's not how God instructs us in God's Word. And so I want to ask the question, what does it mean to call yourself a Christian or that you believe in God, but to not be following God in your life and in your walk? Or if you believe that you're the one who establishes how you live your life, what's okay to do and not do, that's not what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. What it means to be a follower of Jesus, to be in relationship with God, what that means is that our lives should more and more be conformed to what God tells us our life should look like. That there should be a difference for those of us who are believers in Jesus, who follow Jesus, than those in the world, than those who say that they don't. There should be a difference in how we act, in how we treat people, in how we love ourselves, in how we go into the workplace and do our work, and how we raise our children, in the way that we speak, in the way that we act. There should be a difference, because God, we are drawn out of our old self and we are made into a new person when we accept Jesus. And we can't do that if we continue to do things the way we did them in the world, the way we did them for people who don't proclaim Jesus. So, you know, I've been studying James, and he said something that really got my attention. In James chapter 1, verse 22, he said, "Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like somebody who looks at his face in the mirror and after looking at himself goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. But whoever looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues in it, not forgetting what they've heard, but doing it, they will be blessed in what they do." James is saying, just don't hear God's word. Do it. Implement it into your life. Apply it. What good is it if you go to church or you listen to a pastor on YouTube or you tune into virtual church every Sunday or every Wednesday, but you don't do anything different? What good is it? That's what he's saying. Just don't be listeners of it. Be a doer of God's word. Apply it to your life. Just don't listen to somebody talk about how you grow your relationship with God. Start to do those things. Just don't listen to that we're supposed to love other people. Love other people. Just don't listen that God calls us to be holy and set apart. Start living your life where it looks different. It looks set apart, where you don't look like the things that you used to do. You don't look like other young people out here doing things that the God does not call us to do. God calls us to keep ourselves holy and to set ourselves apart and not to be sleeping around with everybody. God calls us to keep ourselves holy and pure and to save that precious intimate act of sex for marriage. Be bold enough and be willing to be set apart and to be different and to stand for something and to represent this relationship you say you have by your actions. You see, when we declare that Jesus is our God, when we say that we're a Christian, that ought to mean something. That ought to mean that when people look at us, they see something different. The only way they can see something different is if we are different. And the only way that we're different is if our actions set us apart. Words can be cheap, but our actions show up. So it doesn't matter. You can say you're a Christian or you believe in God or you've been saved since you've been 12, but do your actions reflect that? And let me just say, there is a difference. There's a difference between being perfect and being perfected. Nobody is perfect. We all mess up. We all fall short. But people can spot those who are really trying to follow God. People can spot those whose hearts are really in it and they're seeking God. You can tell when somebody is following God, even though they will not always be perfect. That there should be something different about it and about us. Don't merely just listen to the word, but put it into practice. Take a step away from that crowd of people who are bad influences, who tempt you and ask you to do things that put you in harm's way, that don't reflect you knowing God, that put you in situations that aren't a good look. Don't take a step away from those and get connected to a crowd who are going after the same things that you're going after, who are about the same things that you're about, who are moving in the same direction that you're moving into. The crowd that we keep is important. And it can shape and mold and influence our own actions. I want to ask you, what does it mean for you to have a relationship with God? Does it impact you in any way? Does it change who you are? Has it changed who you are? Do you do things differently? Are you living your life differently than you once were because of God being in your life? I want to encourage you that not only would you hear God's word, but you would continue or begin to implement God's word, God's principles, God's ways into your life. That your actions and your words may line up. That our actions that are being made reflect more and more of the Father who died for us and gave his life for us so that we may live with him, that we may be saved. Don't merely just listen to God's word as to deceive yourself, but James says, do what it says. Hey friends, if this is giving you something to think about or challenge you in your walk, would you let us know? Would you drop us a note in the comment? Would you like, share, and subscribe? And we can't wait to come back to see you again.